All right, I think I'm live. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good week. Tomorrow's Friday. So excited. I'm ready for the weekend. Kind of have a busy weekend planned, busier than normal at least. And then next week is the reading rush. Is anybody doing the reading rush? The readathon, previously known as Booktubeathon. I don't usually participate in readathons like that, especially like with challenges and stuff. I just kind of read what I want as it is, and it's hard to always find ones that are going to fit the prompts and stuff. But I think I'm going to participate this time. I'm going to take it pretty like chill, but I think I'm going to participate. So, all right. Well, if you guys have never seen one of these before, I've only done a couple. What I'm going to be doing today is just going through my Goodreads to read shelf. Right now, it has a lot of stuff on it that aren't really like high priority for me, and I'm going to like downgrade them onto some lower shelves. I have a pretty complex shelving system on Goodreads, and I basically, when I hear about a book, I add them to my Goodreads in some fashion, and sometimes what I should be doing is adding them to my um, maybe shelf. I have a tiered system with like a TBR maybe, a TBR probably, and a TBR like want to read. And then even more shelves above that. So what I should be doing is adding things automatically to my maybe shelf to begin with. But because my want to read shelf is my like the shelf that Goodreads defaults to, there's a lot of things that get added to that shelf that really should be on a lower shelf. So right now my goal is to get through this want to read shelf. It has about 300 books on it, a little over 300, I think. I'll pull it up. Actually, I could share my screen with you now. So yeah, it has 335 books on it, and I ideally would like to get it down closer to 100. Um, so got a lot of culling to do, and I'll just be moving them onto some lower shelves. So what you guys can do if you're either watching live or if you're watching this on replay is let me know if you've read any of these books, if you think that I should, prioritize any of them. That would be really helpful. But I'll just go straight to my want to read shelf, and I want to sort it by date added. Hey Raya. Hey the Book Fox. Thanks for joining me. And I know these videos are probably boring for some people to watch, but some people really enjoy watching them. And some people, my hope is that maybe it'll like motivate other people to organize their Goodreads shelves, because anyone who uses Goodreads a lot knows that it can get out of hand pretty quickly. And like some people are really good about culling their shelves, but I'm not one of them. So I'm also hoping like videos like this will help people get in the mood to like organize their shelves. Oh, thank you, Boundless Book Owl. I'm glad you think so. I feel like they're kind of boring, but they help me, and a few people have commented and said that they enjoyed watching it and found it helpful for various reasons. If you haven't seen, like if you want to know more about my shelving system, I have a video that explains it that will be linked in the description box. Okay, so we went through a lot of these last time. I'm going to see if I can figure out where we stopped. I actually think that things got a little bit out of order last time, and I skipped a chunk. Like I think I skipped these. Neverwhere. The way that I can tell is that as we go through them, I've been trying really hard to add a genre shelf, so that I can easily see from this view that I've already looked at it. Sorry, I'm reading if I like zone out, it's because I'm reading the chat. Yeah, I do have a lot of Goodreads shelves, and I know it's like an overly complicated system, and I'm by no means saying that like everybody should have a system like this. I have like an overly complicated brain, and so I just like to do it this way. But I mean, it doesn't. It works for me, but it also doesn't really work for me because I don't keep up with it the way that I should, and so then they're just like always a mess. But that's why I'm trying to do these videos, and I'm trying to do them like at least once a month, so that I can hopefully get things cleaned up a little bit. And then maybe I've been the past month being a little more mindful when I add things to my Goodreads shelf to make sure I add it to my TBR maybe shelf instead of just sticking it on my main shelf. And yes, fantasy is definitely the genre that I read the most. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep Neverwhere. I just don't think. So I have a separate shelf for series. Is this really a series? Oh, did you guys know that he's coming out with a second Neverwhere book this year? I don't think I've heard that before. Does it actually have a date? I do want to read Neverwhere. This is definitely staying higher on my list. It says September 15th, but I haven't heard anybody talk about this, so I don't know how real this date is. Yeah, I mean, that's what Goodreads says. I don't know how real it is. It's on Amazon for September 15th, but it doesn't have a cover yet. That's kind of suspicious. I wouldn't trust it. But interesting to know that it is going to be a series. So technically, it should go on my unfinished series shelf, but I'm guessing since they've been published so far apart that they're not really going to rely on each other so much. So this is actually just going to stay on this shelf, but I will add a genre to it. I've heard it's good on audiobook. That's why I have it tagged as audiobook. Has anybody listened to it? Can you agree with that? Oh, I can add it to my mostly 5-star shelf as well. Okay, audiobook. It's fantasy, right? Yeah. Fantasy, mostly 5 stars. Yeah, I definitely want to read that. Has anybody read this book? I've heard a lot of good things about it. Oh, a modern day Alice in Wonderland if Alice was a guy and way crazier. That definitely sounds enticing. Oh, yeah, I have heard that he narrates a lot of his own books. You know what? I need to make this smaller. Let's see. Okay. I think that looks okay. Okay. That way I can see the chat easier. All right. The First 15 Lives of Harry August. Science fiction, time travel. It's got fairly good reviews, although a few not so good ones. Hey Rachel, thanks for joining. We are just getting started. I probably want to read this. It's got really good ratings. Let's go with sci-fi, time travel. Okay. There was a time that I really like. I actually checked this out from the library, and I thought I was going to read it, and then I was listening to it on audiobook, and I didn't like the narrator, so I stopped reading it, and then I just never went back to it. But I do think I want to read it. Historical fiction, World War II, I think. Oh no, this isn't the book that I was thinking about. I don't think I've even started this before. I've heard a lot of good things about it though. Okay, let's see. Other people. Whoa, that was like a bunch of 5 stars in a row. All right. I feel like I really want to read this, but I'm going to be conservative and move it down to probably mostly 5 stars. Yes, the book Fox. That's exactly what happened to me. I got this one confused with Light Between Oceans, I'm pretty sure. If Light Between Oceans is the book that I'm thinking of, but I think it is. Okay. Okay, I really want to read this book. Nobody talks about this, but I remember hearing about it back in 2016. Apparently, that's when I put it on my TBR. But it's set during like it's about a caveman. Like you never get books about cavemen, and it has really good ratings. Granted, it's not that popular, but I really want to read this. Is it really a series? Yes, Book Fox, Light Between Oceans. That's the one that I listened and I didn't like the audio, so I didn't finish it. I mean, I didn't listen to very much of the audio, but I was like, okay, well, I'll try this in physical, and then I never did. Okay, there's just a no, it's more recently published too. But there's just like a little novella. I don't count that as a series, really. Yeah, this one's not all that popular, but I remember hearing about it when I first got on the online book community. It is a romance, so, but I just heard it was really good. I guess, is it, would you consider that historical fiction? Time travel. Someone travel back to prehistoric times? Oh, that sounds cool. I do have a shelf for time travel. I'm gonna go with historical fiction, even though I'm not really sure. I mean, it's about it is like history, right? Caveman times. See, not a lot of people have read it, but it just sounds so interesting. I want to read it. Okay, Pretty Girls. I definitely. Oh, sorry, you can hear my dog barking. Definitely want to read this. I think I actually, yeah, I own a copy of it. Um, yeah, this is going to stay where it is. I don't think I need to do anything to it. So many people have rated it really well. Oh, Rachel. Oh, you only gave it 3.5 stars. Oh, my dogs bark all the time, and I'm not very good at controlling them. Um, Thriller. Pretty sure I have all the shelves already checked off that I need. Yeah. Cool. That one's good. Oh, sorry, Rhea. Where'd she go? Oh, now she's sitting behind me. She must have heard something outside. They bark all the time. It drives me nuts. Oh, that's good to know, Rachel, that you're tough on thrillers. Okay, Burial Rites. I'm pretty sure I want to read. I've been interested in it for so long. I own a copy of this book. I didn't remember that. That's not a good sign, right? have heard that it's sad. Okay, historical fiction. Let's see. Apparently it's good on audiobook. Okay, that one's staying there. Oh, I don't think I knew that was a debut either. Okay, I'm surprised this has been on my TBR for so long because I didn't realize I added it because we're back in 2016, 2015 that I added it, 2016 that I added it to my TBR, or my Goodreads at least. But I definitely want to read this. Who else has read it? Oh, so many good ratings. Like it has mostly 5 stars. It's not as popular as I thought it would be. Okay, so I definitely want to read it. Come on. Mostly 5 stars, fantasy. All right, this one's already good. I didn't know that he had written anything other than The Child Thief. This is the only one that I've heard of, and I have a soft spot for Peter Pan, the original Peter Pan, and so when I heard about this book, I knew I wanted to read it. That are 10 years old. That's a long time to have something on your wish list. Okay. Oh, looks like I might have already looked at this one actually because of all the shelves that it's on. Okay, so it looks like I did this chunk. This one. These are all sequels to series I'm currently reading, so those will stay on the to read shelf. Yeah, I looked at this one last time. This is a series that I think I might like DNF and not read the last book. We did all of these last time. I don't think we did these because I don't recognize this book at all. See, we're already in July. I need to refresh this page because there's no way that we go from November 2016 to January 2000, from, I misspoke. Let's refresh this page. Okay. 2016. Really, I went from February to July without adding any books to my TBR. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, we got down to Ramona Blue. See, these weren't here a second ago. How annoying. Okay. Oh, I see some good books on here. Okay. I didn't even know that they would stop selling audiobooks at some point, but I guess like books go out of print at some point, so it makes sense that I guess audiobooks would too. Okay, the Marsh King's Daughter. I literally have zero knowledge about this book. I have no idea why it's on this shelf. Came out in 2017. It's a thriller. Never heard of this author. She's a #1 best-selling author, though. Oh, licensing. Interesting. I've had friends read it. 4 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars. Oh, that's not the author though. Sorry, this question confused me. Sounds like the premise might be similar to Room, which I have not read. It's definitely going down to my maybe shelf because I don't know anything about it. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I mean, it sounded a little bit interesting, but yeah, not too enticing. I agree. Okay, Fourth Monkey. I feel like someone's recommended this book to me before. It's another mystery thriller. It might be like a police procedural type. The lead investigator. It does have good ratings, but it is the beginning of a series. But these series, like this type of series, usually is, oh, it's only a duology. I was gonna say they're usually not like super connected. Who's read it? Oh, someone gave it 1 star. Oh, these guys gave it 4 and 5, 4, 5. I think I'm gonna go with maybe. I just haven't heard that much about it. And I realize that my maybe shelf is going to be huge, but that's okay. I don't care about that. Because what I do is as I hear about a book over and over, then I move it up a tier and up a tier until it finally is on my want to read shelf. And where's mostly 5 stars? My dog's making noises. Whoa. I don't know why there's a huge ad behind this. Ramona Blue. Okay, I've definitely heard a lot about this book. I've never read any of Julie Murphy's books. Young adult, contemporary, LGBT. It's like not the kind of book I usually read, but it is the kind of book that when I do read it, if it has a lot of like praise, then sometimes I like them. Okay, this is a probably book. I think I will probably read this. Contemporary. Pacifica. I think this is going to be a probably book. I've read one Kristen Simmons before and I really liked it. And I think this is like a dystopian. Yeah. I like dystopians like a lot. Ooh, that pirate story. Yeah, probably. Yeah, the Deceivers sound really good too. That one's like about a it's like a school setting for con men, and I think that sounds so cool. Let's go with dystopian. Okay, this one's definitely staying on my want to read shelf because I've heard so much about it. I really want to read it. It was like nominated for my workbook club a couple times, and I really wanted to win, but I think I got close, but it never actually won. Raya, well, if you do decide to do it, that's awesome, but just know that they get messed up pretty easily. You just have to be careful when you're adding books to begin with, otherwise, you'll have to do a bunch of cleanup like I am. Yeah, definitely want to read this book, and it's considered to be just mystery. I'll go with contemporary. Does it have mostly 5 stars? No, it does not. Okay, next one. I feel like I'm moving through them a little bit faster this time than last time, which is good. Yeah, Robert, that makes sense. So when I add things to my Goodreads, it's not like a literal to be read shelf. It's like a I'm interested in this book. I kind of just like use Goodreads as a way to keep tabs of books that I've heard of, and I'm always trying to like reprioritize the ones that I'm interested in. But these are like I know some people do their TBR as like books that they actually own. I do have a shelf where I'm trying to keep track of the books that I own so I can make sure I try to like read them. But yeah, that's why this shelf is so out of control right now. A lot of these books aren't ones that I'm actually like literally planning to read, and I want to make it be something that I'm actually trying to read. All right, so now we have a book that I have never heard of. I mean, obviously I've heard of it. I've put it on Goodreads, but I don't know what this is. Looks like it might be a short story collection with a bunch of fairy tale retellings. Short stories, okay. Fairy tales. Oh. Ooh, okay. I've never even heard of this author. A lot of good ratings though. And I do really like storytell. What word was that? Fairy tale retellings is what I was trying to say. Okay. Is it actually not more 5 stars, but close? All right. Even though I've never heard of it, I'm intrigued because so many people in my friends list gave it 5 stars, and I do like fairy tale retellings. So I'm gonna put it on my probably list and do fantasy. Do I have a like a retellings tag? No, I don't. Okay. Invictus. Pretty sure I want to keep this on my want to read shelf. I actually haven't read anything by Ryan Groudon yet. So maybe I should put it on my probably shelf. I have a book out from the library by her. I think it's a her. Yeah, I have a book out from the library. It's on my. I pulled it out of my TBR jar, but I haven't read it yet. So like, maybe if I don't like it, I won't read this. I actually don't remember what this is about. Time travel. I love time travel. A heist on a sinking Titanic. I don't know. This sounds really good. Bye, Robert. Thanks for joining us. Has anybody read this? Okay, let's look at reviews. 5 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. DNF. Ooh. 3 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars. All right, I'm going to put it on my probably shelf. Oh, I love time travel and heist. Book Fox. But just because I haven't tried any of her books before, I'll put it on my probably list. Just because I have 334 books on this shelf already, I feel like I have to do a lot of culling. So if by some miracle I get under 100, I can always move things up. Hello, Seth. Thanks for joining us. Okay, let's see. I guess it's science fiction with the time travel, huh? Is it mostly 5 stars? No, it's not. Okay. Moving on. Oh, and it's a standalone. I wonder what is this author name doing here? Okay, that's really strange. I have no idea what that's about. Okay, this one's staying on my want to read shelf. I've heard so much about this book, and I really want to read it. I have not read any Grady Hendrix before. Oh, Cece said this was not good. I at least want to give it a try. So this is definitely staying on my want to read shelf. Let's go with scary. That's already done. Okay. Okay. I've heard so much. Excuse me a second. My dogs. Hey, no barking. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I've heard so much about Jeff Zettner in general, but I haven't read any of his books yet. My friend Shoshana really loves, I think, both of his books. They're contemporaries. I just don't pick up a lot of contemporaries. So because of that, it's going on my probable list, but I at least want to try him, and whether I'm going to just start with this one or his other book, I'm not sure. But either way, probably contemporary, and it looks like it's mostly 5 stars. All right. I feel like I've already looked at that one. Maybe I haven't. I looked at those last time, I feel like. Okay. Yeah, Seven Husbands is going to stay on my TBR for sure. So this series, this is actually 3 books in one, but I think they were like short books. I haven't heard too much about it, but I've heard good things about it from one specific person who listened to the audiobook. I'm pretty sure these are, I know they're post-apocalyptic. I don't know if they're zombie books. Maybe they're just post-apocalyptic. Yeah. But I'm very interested in reading this. How many pages is it all together? 620. Okay. And what each book is 200 pages? Makes them pretty short. Yeah, They're like short novellas, I guess. I'll probably just keep with the one big one, but I think I'm gonna put this on my probably shelf. I'm very interested in it, even though it's not one that's been talked about a lot. Let's go with, I know post-apocalyptic and dystopian aren't exactly the same thing, but I kind of lumped them together. Has anybody I know read this? Nope. Jen Talks Audiobooks is the one that I heard talk about this one and say that it was really good and that the narrator is really good. Am I not friends with Jen? She has a YouTube channel, but she hasn't been posting much lately. And I have audiobook marked. Okay, good. Add as friend. I used to get a lot of audiobook recommendations from her, even though she reads a lot of books that I don't read. Okay, looks like there's just like certain books that they put this thing behind it. Okay, this is definitely staying on my want to read shelf. Putting this as historical fiction. I do own this. I forgot that I had owned this, but I think the audiobook is supposed to be good, yeah. So I'll have to find it on an audiobook too. And it's mostly 5 stars. Cool. I can't not read this. This was so popular on Goodreads on BookTube last year. Okay. This one, has anybody I know actually read this? Okay. One person. But I'm pretty sure this is a NetGalley book. I don't even know if I actually still have it. I actually think that I'm going to move this to probably, because last time I have an arc, but did I say where I got the arc from? Gelly. Last time I did this last month, I was keeping all of my NetGalley books that I like am not super interested in, and that's why I haven't read them on my want to read shelf, but now I think I'm going to move them down to my probably shelf. I think that's like a good compromise. Because I don't actually think I'm going to read them. Actually, I should do that right now. Some of these I have read, but some of them I haven't. Like this one. I'm going to move it to my probably. TBR. Okay. Okay, A Million Junes by Emily Henry. I want to say this is going to stay on my want to read shelf. Has anybody else read this? I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember wanting to read it. I think it's like magical realism. Yeah. Let's see. Haley read it. Lala read it. Alex read it. Whoa, lots of high ratings. Okay. I do want to read this, but I think I'm going to put it on my probably shelf just because it's not my typical genre that I like to read. I am very interested in it. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my contemporary shelf, even though it's magical realism. To me, that leans more contemporary than, like, it's not fantasy, and I don't have anything in between, really. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not fantasy. Okay. A Good Daughter, definitely want to read this. Is it really the beginning of a series? Who else has read this? Emma, Melanie, Katie, Sarah. Yeah. So many of my friends have read this book. I want to read it too. Oh yeah, what other books are in this series? There's just a novella. That doesn't count to me. Okay, want to read audiobook. Theme, scary. Cool. This one's good to go. I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. This is a thriller that I've heard a lot about. 4 stars, 4 stars, 3.5 stars, 3 stars, 4.5. Oh yeah, I have heard that Good Daughter gets pretty dark, so if you're not into the dark stuff, it might be a hard one to read. This one has a lot of good ratings. I'm not like super excited to read it, even though I'm very intrigued based on how many good ratings other people have given it. I think I'm gonna go with probably. Apparently it's good on audiobook. Scary. Okay. For Every Fear, I've heard good things about this. I think I want to read it. I've read one of his other books and I enjoyed it. It was fun, but I mean it was a thriller, so it wasn't like, really fun, but it was fun. It's so weird to say that like horror or thriller books are fun. Um, how often do I need to reorganize my Goodreads? Well, if I was mindful of the books that I put on it in the first place, it'd probably be less, but they're kind of constantly messy, which is why I'm trying to do this series so that I can kind of get them under control. I just haven't been very good about, like, when I add books to it, I kind of just add them to my want to read shelf sometimes. But I want to make it a habit to do this every month, and then hopefully, after a few months, things will be looking better. Like, I want to first get through all of my want to read shelf and get that closer to like 100, like I mentioned. Um, and then I'll probably tackle my TBR series shelf after that. Um, I have an unfinished series shelf that, like, when I hear about a book that's like the beginning of a series, but the series isn't done yet, I've been adding books to that shelf, because I'm trying not to start unfinished series. And then theoretically, when the series is finished, I move it to my series TBR shelf if I still want to read it. but at this point, I've only added books to that unfinished series shelf. So one of my future goals is going to be going through those shelves and looking through them to see if those series, like which ones of those series are now completed, and if they're completed, if I still want to read them or not. So I think it's kind of just like an ongoing process. And that's just because I have such a complicated shelving system, which is all like my fault. It's all on me. But I'm okay with it. Okay, I want to read this. It's not mostly 5 stars, and I don't think I need to put any other tags on it. Oh, this is another one I definitely want to read. I actually own it, I think. This is a horror that sounds very interesting. Is it mostly 5 stars? No. Oh, it actually fails my rating test. So I have this shelf called failed rating test, and it's just like my own made up rating test that I made in my head. It doesn't really mean anything, but it kind of gives me an idea if like the majority, basically the way I do it is if the 4 and 3 star ratings, if that like percentage wise adds up to more than the 4 plus 5. So basically I look at this graph that they have and I look to see if, I don't know, I guess if there's more 3 stars or 5 stars, and it's just a way for me to tag it. It doesn't really mean much, but when I'm looking through my shelves at a glance, I can kind of tell if there's like if most people felt kind of medium about it or if most people enjoyed it. So that's why I have a mostly 5 star shelf and a failed rating test shelf. There's always going to be books in between too. It's kind of just like a little litmus test that I have, but I don't use it to make too many decisions. Okay, I think this is good. All right, let's refresh this page again. All right, 317. Hi, Sashana. I'm glad you made it. Wow, we've already been going for almost an hour. Time really flies when I'm doing this. So last time I did this, I went for 2 hours. I felt like it was a little bit long. I was just kind of like on a roll, I felt like, and I wanted to keep going. This time, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop after an hour and a half. So in a little over 30 minutes, I'll go ahead and stop. Just because I felt like it was a little bit long last time. But I also feel like an hour just flies by, and I don't, like, I want to get, I don't know, I'd like to get through like 50 books each time. I guess I've gotten through more than 50 books, but I'd like to like reduce my shelf by 50 books, and so far I've only reduced it by like 15 or something. So I guess 50 books might be a little bit ambitious. Okay, we've already looked through these. And I also enjoy like talking and chatting with you guys. Some of these I remember and some of them I don't. You can tell I was going through like a thrillery phase because we've gotten more thrillers and horrors on this that I've added like within the same time period. Okay, so how many of these are there? I have read the first 3 of these during Get Graphic-a-thon a few years ago, and I enjoyed them, gave them all 4 stars, but I actually don't think I'm going to read the rest of them. Oh, I'm halfway through. Like, I know that they're good, but I'm not a huge graphic novel comic kind of person. I just find that I don't connect with them as well as I do actual books, which makes sense. Like, there's not as, I don't know, there's not as much there to connect to. And so I feel like I don't want to bother with them. And I think they're making this, they're adapting this or something, which I will be very excited about. So this might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I'm actually going to like DNF this series, mostly because I just feel like I'm not really interested in graphic novels in general. Thanks, Freya. Okay, The Winter People. I think I definitely want to read this. I'm so interested in Jennifer McMahon. I've heard so much about her books. I have other books of hers on my shelves. Like, I really want to read this one, Don't Breathe a Word. It's one of her YA books. And I feel like there's another one. Oh, look. Rachel gave it 4.5 stars. Katie gave it 4.5 stars. Beth gave it 5 stars. Yeah, I really want to read this one. This is staying on my want to read shelf. But is it? Okay, it is horror. I wasn't sure if it was just like a thriller. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I definitely don't want to try to force it when it comes to graphic novels and comics. Like, I think it's great that other people enjoy them. And, like, when I read them, I enjoy them. Like, I don't not like them, but I feel like I'd rather spend that time reading, like, novels and series. I don't feel like I get as much out of them personally. But I'm glad you guys understand. Okay. Want to read. This is scary and not mostly 5 stars. Actually fails my rating test. I don't think I've been that good about checking to see if it fails my rating test. But like I said, I don't really use that shelf for that much. I probably should just like stop doing it, but I'm not going to. Oh yeah, The Winter People. That's definitely. Oh, that's this one. Yes. It's her best one. Okay. That's good to know. I feel like she has other books that I'm interested in, other than the one. I think she just came out with a book like last year, right? The Invited. That's the one that I'm interested in. Apparently, it's on my maybe shelf. Don't Breathe a Word I put on my probably shelf. So, if The Winter People is her best one, then it should stay on my want to read shelf. Okay, that one's good. I don't know anything about this book. Like, what is this doing on my want to read shelf? The books like this are the reason why I need to do this culling and this organization stuff because like I don't know what this book is. And the future of the human race is at stake. Okay, sounds like it's sci-fi. It's YA. A comet is scheduled to hit Earth. That's interesting. All right, who has read this? Caitlin gave it 4 stars. 4 stars. It does have a very un-sci-fi cover. I agree. So Shauna, I actually think they might have a place where you can write where you got the recommendation from, but I think it's like hidden. I think is it under review? No. I swear. Oh wait, let's see more details. Yeah, see who recommended it to me. You can add it here, but like when you're adding a book to your shelf, you're not going to go to this section to do that. They should make it easier so that you can do it from like the main page. Like I should be able to do it from this page instead of, because I'm not going to click on, especially if I'm on my phone. I don't even know how to get to it on my phone. I'm sure that I can. Yeah, I agree. It needs to be more accessible. All right, this is going to my maybe shelf because it sounds interesting, but I don't know enough about it. And sci-fi. Oh, you read this one, Rachel? Slower, character-driven sci-fi. It does sound okay. It's in space. Oh, let me also do that. Yes, the search system is so bad. Like if you misspell something by just like one word or one letter, I mean, you can't find it. And it's so annoying, especially when I'm trying to search by author and I don't know how to spell the author's name. Very annoying. Okay, this sounds familiar, but I don't really remember much about it. It's pretty popular. Came out in 2017. Mystery thriller. Rachel gave it 4 stars. Raya, you're funny. Oh, I'm glad you've been enjoying Nosferatu, Ryan. I haven't read it yet. I think I'm going to try to read it this December because I hear there's a little something about Christmas Land. So 4 stars. Okay, only 2 people have read it. Ooh, Ellie Mae gave it 2.5 stars. Oh, good autism rep. That sounds interesting. I think I'm gonna put this on my probably shelf. I'm intrigued. And it is mostly 5 stars with a lot of ratings. Cool. This is actually a sequel. This is like a literary fiction. I don't read literary fiction. It's got to be like a loosely tied together because I have never heard of anybody talking about Salvage the Bones. Honestly, I don't think I'm really that interested in reading this. I don't think I realized it was magic. It had some magical realism. Excuse me. That's a lot of good ratings. Whoa. It just doesn't seem like. Yeah, Rhea. It didn't. I hadn't heard of it being a sequel either. I think I'm gonna put it on my maybe shelf. I don't want to discount it. Maybe I'll read it one day. Oh, it's only 285 pages. That's pretty short. It's got really good ratings. I put it on contemporary. It's more like literary fiction, but I don't have a literary fiction shelf. Yeah, I have heard a lot of people talking about this book for sure. I think it was probably, oh yeah, it won the National Book Award and stuff. It's like an award-winning book. Like I remember a lot of people who read a lot more literary fiction talking about it, and so I was interested enough in it. But it's like it's like a book that I feel like I should read. That's how I feel about a lot of literary fiction. It's like I feel like I should want to read that, but I just never get around to it because I have so much like fantasy and other things that I want to read that I'm always picking up. So because of that, I'll put it on my TBR maybe shelf. Okay, Crazy Rich Asians. I'm so torn about this. Part of me like has no desire to read it, but so many people say it's like so much fun and it's really funny. It's like totally not my kind of book. I am interested in seeing the movie though. Hey, that Disney chick, thanks for joining us. I have not seen the movies. I probably will see them before I end up reading this book. But I also heard that someone today was saying that something happens in the first movie that doesn't happen in the first book, so it kind of like ruined something, like spoiled them for something. So like maybe I should read the books first. Oh, people who did not like the book enjoyed the movie. Maybe I'll just enjoy the movies. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Maybe I'll just watch the movie instead of reading them. But like Reagan from Peru's project, like she doesn't read a lot of contemporary, but she loves these books. So that makes me feel like maybe I would too. And they're Asian, so I feel like I should want to read them just because I'm half Asian. But it's not the same kind of Asian. I don't know. I'm gonna put it on my maybe shelf. Well, yeah, I'm gonna put it on my maybe shelf. I also don't think, I mean, it's about like super rich people. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy reading about super rich people. Okay, who's read Paula Hawkins? Yeah, Shoshana. I probably should just watch the movie. Okay, this is a mystery thriller. Oh, not off to a good start with ratings there. Ooh, there's a student teacher romantic relationship. Don't know how I feel about that. Okay, not doing so hot on the ratings. Okay, we've got a 4 star, 3.5. Ooh, 1 star from Rachel. This is not looking good. Well, and then some people that I don't know so well have rated it better. Oh, Lala was down here. She gave it 3 stars. 2 stars from Natasha. Hmm. Those aren't great ratings. All right, because of that, I'm putting it on my or not probably, maybe shelf. After seeing those ratings, I'm not so sure I'm interested. It won the Goodreads Choice Award in 2017, though. That's interesting. It definitely fails my rating test. Okay, I'm pretty sure I want to read this. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. Yes, the Goodreads Choice Awards is a mess. It's just a popularity contest. But you would think that, I don't know, some things that are popular would at least be good. But I guess that's not true. Oh, you'd say it's a point against it? That's really funny. You're probably right. Okay, modern day rent. Married man. Where the okay? It's got decent ratings. Oh, Lala liked it. some meh feelings. Murphy gave it 3 stars. 3.5 stars. Ooh, a couple of 2 stars. The ratings are kind of all over the place. Okay, so I think this is probably. This is a probably. Sleeping Beauties. I have mixed feelings about this. Like, I'm interested, but I didn't hear great things. The ratings look okay, though. Yeah, the cover is pretty badass. I agree. I think I want to read this. Surprisingly, not that many people have read it. Yeah, I think it sounds really interesting too. Okay, want to read. You have no interest in Stephen King, but you like the cover. I feel you. I am still interested in Stephen King. I've only read one of his books and it was just okay. But I think that there is going to be some that I like, and I also think there would be some of his books that I wouldn't like. I feel like he's just written so much that it's really easy to be hit or miss. Rachel, well, I probably just misinterpreted some of your comments if they were like off timing, but I didn't notice. Myths and Mayhem, which Stephen King did you start with? The one that I read was Salem's Lot, and it was just okay. I didn't really like it that much. Final Girls, I want to read this. I've heard so much about Riley Sager. I think his newest book sounds super interesting. I really want to read this new one, Lock Every Door. I wasn't really that interested in Last Time I Lied. Oh, that's funny. You also read Salem's Lot. That's the one that I didn't really like that much. A lot of people really like it. I kind of have an unpopular opinion there. So I've heard Pet Cemetery is really good. I do want to read that one, I think. Okay. I think this is staying on my want to read shelf. It does very slightly fail my rating test. Yeah, that was AJ Finn. Oh, The Hate You Give. That's an important book. Okay. Yeah, The Hate You Give is staying on my TBR, but I don't know if I have it marked as good on audio. Let's see. I don't. Thanks, Rhea. Definitely will mark that as good on audio. And this is contemporary and yeah, mostly 5 stars. Whoo, look at those ratings, guys. 64% 5 stars. Like, that's pretty intense. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. Like, I need to. But you guys know I just never gravitate towards reading contemporary books. Yeah, I don't even need to look at reviews for it. Okay, I don't know. I read his other book. What was it? This one, Aristotle and Dante, and I enjoyed it. But I'm not sure how much I really. So, Shauna, you haven't read The Hate You Give? I totally thought you had read that one already. That's so funny. Okay. Benjamin O'Leary Sains. So I read his other book and I enjoyed it. I kind of haven't heard like great things about him as a person. I don't know if other people have heard that too. So I'm not sure. It does have really good ratings. Oh, you read her second book? That's funny, Shoshana. You gotta go read her debut. Did you like her second book? I mean, I've heard good things about that one too. I feel like this is gonna be a maybe book. Like, I've heard good things about it. I'm interested in it, but again, it's just like a contemporary, and I like realistically don't know when I will ever get to it. And I also want to clarify that sometimes I read things that are on my probably or maybe list. Like, if I, for whatever reason, decide I want to read it, just because it's on those shelves doesn't mean I'm not going to read it. Sometimes I just like will pick it up anyways. So just because I like, if I put it on my probably or maybe shelf, it means that I'm not going to be like actively prioritizing it. But sometimes I still, that doesn't mean I'm not going to read it. Like, I might still read it. All the Crooked Saints. I've definitely heard a lot of mixed things about this one. I've read some Maggie Stiefvater that I enjoyed. I don't think I've not enjoyed any of her books. I've read 3 of her books, I think. This one definitely got a lot of mixed reviews when it came out. Whoa. 1.5 stars. Yeah, it's got a lot of mixed reviews. No, I don't think this is in the Raven Boys world. Yeah, that's a good point, Rhea, to read some of the Latinx reviewers. Do I have any that jump out to me? Well, Mari, she gave it 1.5 stars. Oh yeah, I did hear about this town thing. She's Latina, not Mexican. Hmm. Man, not Brandy DNF'd it. We've got some people who really liked it. Lala DNF'd it. I don't know. I'm not that like that interested in it, I guess. Alright, for now, I'm just going to put it on my maybe shelf, but I think realistically, I'm never going to get to this one. Even though I just talked about how just because I put it on my maybe shelf doesn't mean I'm not going to read it. But I don't know. I'm not ready to move it to my lost interest shelf yet. I need to do a little more digging, I think, before I do that. Well, it's not really contemporary. I shouldn't do that. I need some more genre shelves. I'm finding my options to be a little limiting sometimes. Okay, I definitely want to read Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This needs to be shelved as nonfiction. Okay, good. Mostly 5 stars. Oh, I wonder who reads the audiobook. Yeah, I don't have a magical realism shelf, Rhea, but I should make one, I think. Caitlin does read it on audio. Okay, well then I definitely need to, that's what I was wondering. I definitely need to listen to this one. Okay, The Afterlife of Holly Chase. This is either a want to read or a probably book. I've heard so much about this one, but I can only read it at Christmas time. mm. Book Fox, you've read this book, Afterlife of Holly Chase. Did you like it? What did you think? I can't decide if it's a want to read or a probably. I think it's a probably. Maybe I need to have a Christmas shelf. Yeah. There are quite a few books that I'm like, oh, I'm saving this for Christmas. It was a fun Christmas book, like the audiobook, and it's available on Scribd. That's good to know. I will tag it as audiobook. And yeah. All right. I guess I didn't do genre. I don't know what genre I would put this in. It's like got magic in it, but maybe it's more like time travel. No, I don't know. I'm not going to give it a genre. I'll just have to remember that I've already looked at this book in the past. Okay. Yeah, the emojis are kind of all over the place. I haven't read The Christmas Carol in a very long time. I doubt I'd be reading it, like rereading it anytime soon. Have I even read it? I know I used to own it when I was a kid, but whether or not I've read it, I don't remember. Hold on. I have a dog begging to be let into the room. What are you doing? Okay, All the Birds in the Sky. This cover looks really familiar, but I don't remember anything about this book. Is it really a series? Nope, not really. Yeah, I've definitely seen quite a few adaptions, like movie adaptions of The Christmas Carol. Okay. A witch and a mad scientist. Set in the new future. Small band of other magicians secretly repair the world's ever-growing ailments. Okay, that's intriguing. Fantasy. Whoa, it's won a bunch of awards. Oh, Colin Nutty gave it 1 star. She hated it. Interesting. Oh, Caitlin gave it 2 stars. Then we got a 4-star, 4-star, a 3-star, a 4-star. Cindy gave it 3 stars. Oh, my friend Leanna gave it 5 stars. She seems to be a bit of an outlier. Ooh, this one's all over the place. I think it's got to go on my maybe shelf. Definitely fails my rating test. And I'm just not going to put it on a genre shelf. I need like a contemporary fantasy or like a, I don't know, maybe an urban fantasy, magical realism shelf. I don't know. Oh, this is a sequel to a series that I am sort of reading. I'm not sure if I really want to continue on in this series. It's just been a while since I've read it. Nobody else has read it. It's out, right? Came out December 2018. Well, because it's a sequel, I'm going to leave it where it is for now because I decide at the end of the year what, like, if I'm going to DNF a bunch of series that I'm in the middle of, so I'll decide then. But I can make it sure it has a genre shelf. Fantasy. Ratings. Okay. Okay. What is this? Oh, compilation of the best zombie literature for the past 30 years. I do want to read more zombie stuff. Okay. I was thinking I was going to have to move this, but I think I actually want to read this. Do I know anybody who's read it? No. Nobody I know has read this. But a collection of zombie books with people like Joe Hill, George R. R. Martin, Neil Gaiman, more. Stephen King, Dan Simmons. I feel like I should read this. Okay. Want to read? Why is there? Yeah, I read The Glass Bear and I feel like I gave it 3 stars. But I thought I was interested enough to keep reading. Oh, there is a second one of these. But I don't know. The more time I get away from The Glass Bear, the less interested I am in continuing on in the series. Okay, want to read. Cool. I should have an anthology shelf or like a short story collection shelf. Okay, The Librarian of Auschwitz. This one sounds like it's good. It's a YA historical fiction. Not that many people I know have read it. I don't know. I think this is a probably because I'm very intrigued by this. Oops, not paused. We are probably mostly 5 stars. Let's see. Historical fiction, mostly 5 stars. Cool. Oh my gosh, Sean David Hutchinson. This is another author that I've heard so much about. Very intrigued by his books, but I haven't read any of them. 4 stars. 5, 5, 4. Yeah, I've heard such good things. I think this is a want to read book. Or is it a probably? I think I'm going to keep it on my want to read shelf. It is mostly 5 stars though. Is it marked as that? Nope. Mostly 5 stars. I'm going to put it as science fiction. No, I know it has a very contemporary feel. Oh, yeah, Christina, you liked it? I've heard a lot of good things about it. So, yeah, I think I'm going to keep that on my want to read shelf. Okay, it's 9:30. I think I'm going to do, well, I should probably call it. Oh, I want to do a few more. This is like so addicting once I like get into a rhythm of like going through the books. I'll do one more round and then I'll stop. I just feel so productive. Did this last one get clicked on? No. Okay. Oops. Stop here. Keep going. Okay, Rachel, I'll keep going. I just feel like I'm on a roll and I just feel so productive like moving these things around. All right, yeah, maybe I'll just keep going for a little bit longer. Here to Eternity, another one that I definitely want to read. I watch Caitlin Doty's channel too. I think she's hilarious. So definitely want to read this one. And she probably narrates the audiobooks. I'm going to mark it as audiobook. Okay, and this is nonfiction. And it's mostly 5 stars. I like never read nonfiction, but I really should. Who else has read this? Hey, Little Thrifter. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. I should read it. Oh, I accidentally did this in the page I had my shelf pulled up on, so I'll go back there. Okay, I don't know anything about this book. What is it doing on my want to read shelf? It does have really good ratings though. Oh, it sounds like a dystopian. Yeah, it's a YA dystopian. It won a handful of awards. It is an older book, first published in 2006. It's only 150 pages. That's really short. Just rated at 5 stars. Emily May read it twice. All right. I'm intrigued. Let's take a closer look at this. What is consciousness? What makes us human? If artificial intelligence were developed to a high enough capability, what special status could humanity still claim? Okay, that's like one of the things I love reading about. So I'm not going to keep it on my want to read shelf, but I'm going to put it on my probably shelf. I love books that like examine what makes us human and like especially when there's like AI involved and it's like are they human enough or are they, like are they not really human? I love that stuff. So probably shelf it is. I'm going to put this as it says utopian, but I kind of lump dystopian and utopians together. Sci-fi. It's not mostly 5 stars, but yeah, and I haven't heard of this author before. Have they written anything else? It's a New Zealand author. It's probably one reason why I haven't heard. Whoa, Genesis was written while he was in a Royal Society Genetics Research Fellowship investigating DNA mutations. That sounds right up my alley. So Shauna, AI creeps you out. That's funny. I mean, I shouldn't laugh. This guy's written other stuff that I have never heard of. But sometimes it's hard to hear about things that are published in like Australia and New Zealand and stuff. Interesting. He's published a bunch of stuff. Okay, moving on. This cover looks very familiar, but I don't actually know what this book is about. What are you doing? Sorry, my dogs are whining. Set in Africa. Oh, I bet this is like a literary fiction. No. It's a YA mystery thriller. Okay. I feel like I have heard about this book, but oh, Olive gave it 5 stars. That's pretty high praise. Thanks for hanging out, Book Fox. I understand if you have to go. No big deal. This has been going on for a while. But thanks for joining us. Okay, I'm intrigued. Okay. Thanks for joining us, Rhea. I hope you have a good nap. All right, this is very intriguing to me. Lots of good ratings from people I know. I am going to put it on my probably shelf, though. It actually doesn't seem to have as good of ratings overall. Like I was seeing a lot of 5 stars in my friends list. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, this one I definitely have to read. So many people have recommended this book. I know Shoshana's read it. At least I think she has. Okay, want to read. I definitely need to do it on audiobook. And contemporary. I know it's like really short too. It should be easy to get through. Yeah, that's what I heard. Have to do the audiobook. Why was there a translator? Okay. Oh man, everyone's been talking about radio silence. Not everyone, but a lot of people. It's just, again, not like the genre of book I tend to pick up, but I feel like it's like one I feel like I should read because so many people have, look at that, so many 4 and 5 star ratings. Everybody loves this. But is it really a want to read or is it a probably? Oh, you thought it was overhyped, Christina. Interesting. I'll put it on my probably list. But it is mostly 5 stars. No, I already marked it as that. And it's contemporary. Okay, I've heard of Claire North before. She wrote, hold on, what are her other books? Oh yeah, that Harry August book. That's on my shelves. Why does it not say? I think I put it on my probably shelf. Yeah. So I haven't read any of her books, but oh, my friend Crinny gave it 5 stars. Okay, what is it actually about though? Because I don't know. You won't know who I am, but we've met before 1,000 times. Oh yeah, this is about a girl that like I think people keep forgetting that she exists. Like they only remember her when they're with her. Yes, that's what I think too. That sounds so interesting. But how come not that many people have read it? So many people have been on. Oh, Reagan gave it 5 stars. Ooh, Jen DNF'd it. I think it's also going to go on my probably shelf. Like the synopsis or the premise sounds super intriguing, but I just have so many other things that I like definitely want to read that. Oh, and it actually failed my reading test. Okay. Oh, The Darkest Legacy. I do want to read this. I don't know when, but I read the Darkest Minds trilogy years ago and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So I'm totally down to read this. Oh, yeah. But how many books are going to be in this? Like, so it's a continuation of the first series, but it's like a second trilogy, I feel like. Oh, but she doesn't have another book planned for it at this point. Interesting. All right, well, want to read, so it's going to be dystopian, mostly 5 stars. The Marrow Thieves. I definitely want to read this. I've heard such good things about it, and it sounds really interesting. It's about, it's like by a Canadian author. It's about Indigenous people and how, ouch, has to do with like getting their marrow and using it in unethical ways and things like that. Sounds really interesting. People have lost the ability to dream, and it's like the indigenous people are able to dream, so they, like normal, not normal people, but like other people, white people, are stealing their marrow and like transplanting it so that they can give people the ability to dream. I don't know. I've heard really good things about it. Look at those ratings. Mostly people in Canada have read it and talked about it. So yeah, I definitely want to read this. I'm gonna put it under dystopian. It's not mostly 5 stars, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, let's see. Ooh, my want to read shelf is at 301. How exciting. All right, we're going to do this one more time so I can get it under 301, which will mean that we got rid of about 35 books so far. And that's about what we did last time, too, I think. All right, most of these I've already done. Trying to find where we left off. Marrow Thieves. Okay. This will be the last round that I do tonight. But then I'll be back in a month doing it again. I don't know what book this is. This sounds like a true crime book. Oh, nonfiction, true crime. Why is this on my shelf? Barely anybody I know has read it. Alright. It does have really good ratings though. So it's going down to my maybe shelf. And it's going to... Okay, nonfiction, mostly 5 stars. I think that's good. A drug empire from his bedroom. Yeah, it does sound like a gangster kind of book, which I'm not sure I'm really into reading that kind of stuff. But maybe. That's why it's going on my maybe shelf. Okay, To Kill a Kingdom. This is definitely going on my maybe shelf. I was interested in it, but I haven't really heard that great of things. Or maybe it's probably. I've kind of heard good things about it. I think this is like a Little Mermaid retelling. But I remember people saying that it wasn't quite as dark as they wanted, but I also heard it was kind of stabby, so. Okay, Melanie gave it 5 stars. CG Drews gave it 5 stars. Angelica gave it 5 stars. I feel like my friend Leanna really liked it. Murphy gave it 3 stars. 3 stars. Five stars. Oh yeah, a lot of people like this one. I think I gotta put it on my probably shelf. Because I'm very intrigued. I just don't know if I definitely want to read it. See, I knew Leanna gave it 5 stars. Or do I really want to read it? I don't know. I think probably. Probably. Well, apparently it's good on audiobook. Started out strong, but fizzled out at the end. Heavy on the romance. That is good to know. All right. I feel good about putting it on my probably shelf. Good night, Tashana. Thanks for joining us. I'll be wrapping up here pretty quick. Just a few more books to go. I think I'm gonna put this on the probably shelf. I did read Simon and the Homo Sapiens Agenda, but I haven't heard as good of things about this one. I'm just not really that interested in reading it. What have other people said? 5 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. Like, I think I would, if I read it, I would think it was cute and that I would like it. But I'm just not like that motivated to read it. Contemporary. Okay. Vengeful. I want to read this, even though I've definitely heard mixed things about it. Looks like it's mostly 5 stars. Let's go with science fiction. Mostly 5 stars. Okay. I haven't heard too many people talking about this after it came out, but I was super interested in reading it. Oh, Rachel, you've read it. Slow burning character study. Oh, I'm glad you liked Vengeful, Amy. I guess this has got to go on my maybe shelf. Oh, look at those ratings. That's not great. Okay, maybe definitely fails my rating test. Where is Oh, this I definitely want to read. I have read 2 of Ruta Sepetty's books and loved both of them. This is, I think, her older one. It came out before the 2 that I read, which I'm always a little nervous going into an author's backlist, but I think I'm going to like it. Oh, maybe it's not older than her other books. Anyways, I definitely want to read this. It's historical fiction. Historical fiction. It was The Nanny. I think that's what it was called. The Perfect Nanny by Layla Slimani. Rachel, that's the one that you had read. You said it was a character study, but it had not great reviews. But I remember being really interested in it when it first came out. Okay, that one's done. Oh yeah, I feel like this one was interesting, but somebody I know gave it a bad rating. Okay, Cass DNF'd it. Oh, but Mari gave it 4 stars. Adriana gave it 4 stars. So it must have been Cass I was thinking of. It's like an urban fantasy. I feel like I don't often get along with urban fantasy. I think I'm gonna put this on my probably shelf because it's a vampire book, and I do like vampire books. Yeah, okay. I feel okay about that. This book does not ring a bell at all. What is this book? Why is this on my shelf? Okay, historical fiction, World War II. Oh, Murphy read it and gave it 4 stars. Sweet romance with lots of culture. Not a lot of people have read it. It is mostly 5 stars, but not a lot of ratings to go off of. Takes place in Scotland. It's got to be a maybe. TBR maybe. Historical fiction, mostly 5 stars. Particular sadness of lemon cake. This sounds vaguely familiar. This book looks really interesting, though. All right, let's not get distracted, but I'm intrigued by the cover of that book. Hi, puppy. You going in my lap? I'm almost done. Okay. Good to know, Rachel, that that one is more urban fantasy than horror. Hi, puppy. Okay. This one is like a magical realism. I feel like I heard about this from Reagan. Maybe not. Caitlin, Jessica. Oh, Stephanie. I think this is a maybe. I'm not like super interested in it. Okay, this one I feel like I want to read. Moody Bookworm, you said that you hate this book. What book were you talking about? Because I just switched books and I don't know if it was present on that screen or not. I think you're talking about the one with the cake in the title, but I'm not sure. So let me know what book you're talking about. Lemon cake. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, the ratings didn't look that good on it. Interesting. Hate is a pretty strong word. Okay, this one's like a book about a cult, and I feel like I want to read it. Yeah, oh, I mean to click on whatever I just clicked on. Oh, Amazon link. That's a different cover. Um, I haven't read that much magical realism to really say. I know I've read one that I didn't like, but I feel like I like it sometimes. Oh yeah, this has lots of good ratings. So a few not so good. I feel like I want to read this one. Okay, want to read. Is it like historical fiction or is it contemporary? Contemporary. Okay. Yeah, that one's staying. All right, let's refresh this page and see how many books we've gotten down to. All right, 294. I like it. We started at 335, I think. So it's like 40 books, which I kind of wanted. I was trying to do 50 books, but that obviously is not realistic in a 2 hour time period because I was only planning on going for an hour and a half. Yeah, I have heard that cult book that I was just looking at is pretty scary, Myth and Mayhem, so might not be for you. I actually don't think I've read any books about cults, but I'm very intrigued by them. I think I want to. Moody Bookworm, you said that lemon cake book was like Kafka, where he turns into a bug. I had to read that book in high school and I hated it. Maybe I won't like that book. Maybe I shouldn't read it. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I think I'm going to call it now. We've been doing this for about 2 hours. Um, Anyone who's watching this on replay, you're probably still not watching it at this point at the very end, but definitely let me know in the comment section if you have any opinions on any of these books that I was, moving around on my shelves and stuff. Thanks everybody who is online for joining me. I had a lot of fun doing this, and like I said, plan to do this monthly, so I'll see you again in about a month. Have a good night, guys. Let me figure out how to stop streaming. Oh, I know. I do it from here. Bye, guys. Have a good night.